There are some ancient mysteries that may never be solved, from the date Jesus was born to the lost tomb of Cleopatra and the true identity of Jack the Ripper. These are the riddles history refuses to answer, leaving us with nothing but speculation, myths, and wild theories. Some are buried under centuries of lost records and destroyed artifacts, while others are shrouded in secrecy simply because no new evidence has emerged. And let's be honest, sometimes the mystery is what makes them legendary. So let's dive into 15 of the darkest and most perplexing mysteries from ancient times that still baffle historians, archaeologists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Number 15. Spontaneous human combustion. A person suddenly bursting into flames reduced to a pile of ash, but with their legs, feet, or hands mysteriously intact. Sounds like something out of a horror movie, right? Yet over the past 300 years, at least 200 cases of spontaneous human combustion have been recorded, leaving scientists and investigators scratching their heads. Victims are usually found alone, their bodies burned beyond recognition, but with minimal fire damage to their surroundings. Sometimes, a greasy residue is left behind, and reports even describe a sweet, smoky smell lingering in the air. Explanations range from alcoholism, static electricity, and flammable body fat to more bizarre theories like divine punishment or supernatural forces. The most scientific theory so far? The wick effect, where a person's clothing acts like a candle wick, drawing body fat into a slow-burning flame. But this doesn't explain why victims don't react, or why nearby objects remain untouched. Number 14. The Tamam Shud mystery. On December 1st, 1948, a well-dressed man was found dead on Somerton Beach, Australia. No ID, no labels on his clothes, no obvious cause of death. And the only clue? A scrap of paper stuffed in his pocket with the words Tamam Shud, Persian for the end. Authorities discovered that the paper was torn from a rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Even weirder? They found the missing book in an abandoned car nearby with a mysterious code scribbled inside. To this day, the code remains undeciphered. Was he a spy, killed during the height of the Cold War? An assassination target silenced forever? Or just an ordinary man with a tragic end? No country ever claimed him. No records matched his fingerprints. No one came forward to identify him. Number 13. Skeleton Lake. A lake filled with hundreds of human skeletons sounds like something out of a horror story. But Rupkund Lake, high in the Indian Himalayas, is all too real. Known as Skeleton Lake, it remains frozen for most of the year. But when the ice melts, hundreds of skulls and bones emerge from the depths. The first discovery came in 1942 when a British ranger stumbled upon the grisly scene. Initially, people thought the skeletons belonged to Japanese soldiers from World War II, but radiocarbon dating later revealed they were much older, dating back to 850 AD. So, what happened? One of the strongest theories is that a freak hailstorm wiped out a group of travelers. The skulls show massive blunt force trauma, consistent with being pelted by huge hailstones. But here's the mystery. Who were these people? Well, the answer is no one knows. Number 12. Greek fire. Imagine a weapon so fearsome that entire enemy fleets were engulfed in flames with no way to extinguish the inferno. That's Greek fire, the Byzantine Empire's deadliest military secret. Often compared to modern-day napalm, this mysterious flammable substance could burn on water, making it a nightmare for naval warfare. First appearing in the 7th or 8th century CE, it became a key defense mechanism for the Byzantines, protecting Constantinople from sieges and repelling countless invasions. Delivered through siphons mounted on ships, Greek fire spread rapidly, reducing wooden vessels to smoldering wrecks within minutes. Reports suggest entire armadas were wiped out in mere moments, their sailors meeting a fiery demise. But here's the real mystery. No one knows how it was made. The formula was a closely guarded state secret, and as the Byzantine Empire declined, so did knowledge of its composition. When the last person who knew its ingredients died, Greek fire vanished from history just like one piece. Number 11. The Roman dodecahedrons. Some ancient artifacts make perfect sense. We know why the Romans built aqueducts, amphitheaters, and roads. But then there are Roman dodecahedrons, 12-sided geometric objects made of metal, with circular holes on each face, dating back to 100 to 300 CE. Found scattered across Europe, these strange relics have left historians and archaeologists utterly baffled. What were they used for? No one knows. Some theories suggest they were religious objects, used in rituals or fortune-telling. Others believe they were measuring tools, possibly for astronomical calculations or knitting gloves. Yes, really. A more radical idea? They were ancient weapons, engineered with a purpose lost to time. Adding to the mystery, no written records mention them. The Romans documented everything, yet these objects are conspicuously absent from historical texts. Until we crack the code on their purpose, the Roman dodecahedrons remain one of history's most perplexing artifacts, a puzzle locked away in the past. Number 10. The disappearance of the 9th Legion. An entire Roman legion vanishing without a trace? Now that's a mystery that could keep even the best detectives up at night. The Legio IX Hispana, one of Rome's most elite military units, seemingly disappeared from history around the 2nd century AD. The last solid record of them places them in Britain around 108 AD, but after that, silence. No triumphant returns, no battlefield reports, just an eerie absence in the historical record. For years, historians believed the 9th met a brutal fate at the hands of northern British tribes, wiped out in some forgotten battle. But then, a curveball. Evidence surfaced suggesting the Legion may have been transferred east, possibly to fight in present-day Germany or the Middle East. Some records hint they may have even seen action under Emperor Hadrian. If true, that means their fate wasn't sealed in Britain at all. So what really happened? Were they annihilated by rebellious warriors in Britannia, or simply lost in the bureaucratic shuffle of Rome's vast empire? Well, until more evidence emerges, the 9th Legion's disappearance remains one of Rome's greatest mysteries. Number 9. The chemical warfare mystery at Dura Europos. History is packed with brutal warfare, but chemical weapons? That's next-level terrifying. And if the evidence from Dura Europos in Syria is to be believed, we might be looking at one of the first known instances of chemical warfare, over 1,700 years ago. The scene: Roman soldiers trapped in a tunnel, their bodies twisted in agony, their last breaths stolen by some unseen force. Archaeologists studying the remains found traces of toxic chemicals, leading to a chilling theory. Persian forces had deliberately unleashed a cloud of deadly gas, using burning sulfur and bitumen to suffocate the Romans in their underground defenses. But here's where things get murky. Some experts argue the toxic fumes were just an unfortunate side effect of regular siege tactics, while others believe this was a calculated, strategic use of chemical warfare. Either way, one thing is clear. The battle for Dura Europos wasn't just fought with swords and shields. It may have been one of the first times in history that war took a deadly, invisible form. Number 8. The Skulls of Motala. Skull mysteries hit differently, and the Motala skulls in Sweden, they're on another level. At a lakeside site, archaeologists uncovered 11 human skulls, some with signs of brutal injuries, others mysteriously mounted on wooden stakes. Now, finding ancient skulls isn't that unusual, but what makes this discovery so eerie is the mix of remains: men, women, children, and even babies. Some skulls contained fragments of other human skulls inside them, like a creepy prehistoric nesting doll situation. Theories range from ritual sacrifices to burial rites, or even some unknown ancient belief systems. Adding to the mystery, many of the skulls showed evidence of healed head injuries, suggesting these people had suffered repeated trauma in life. But why? Were they warriors, victims of violence, or participants in some extreme initiation ritual? No one knows. Dating back 8,000 years, this scary sight continues to baffle researchers, and chances are its true purpose may remain as obscure as the lives of the people behind it. Number 7. The strange stone statues of Sulawesi. Move over, Easter Island. Sulawesi's got some stone mysteries of its own. Scattered across the island's rugged landscape are 400 stone figures, ranging from tiny human-like carvings to towering monoliths over 15 feet high. But here's the kicker. No one knows who made them, why, or even when. Unlike other ancient sites, there's zero evidence of settlements nearby. No houses, no tools, no burial grounds, just the stones, standing alone like eerie sentinels in the jungle. Some figures resemble coffins, leading to theories that they were part of ancient funerary rituals. Others believe they could be remnants of a long-lost civilization, swallowed by time and nature. Even the locals have no definitive answers. According to Indonesian folklore, the stones were once people, criminals cursed to remain in stone form forever. It's a wild idea, but in the absence of real answers, who's to say it's not true? For now, Sulawesi's stone guardians remain one of archaeology's most frustrating and fascinating puzzles. Number 6. The Lost Tomb of Cleopatra. Cleopatra VII, one of history's most famous queens, a political mastermind, and the last ruler of ancient Egypt. We know her life in dramatic detail, her relationships with Julius and Antony, her beauty, and her tragic end in 30 BC. But where is she buried? That's the million-dollar question. Historical records claim Cleopatra and Antony were laid to rest together, yet despite centuries of searching, their tomb has never been found. Some believe it was destroyed by a tsunami that hit Alexandria in 365 AD, while others suspect it's hidden somewhere in the Nile Delta, possibly in a temple dedicated to Isis and Osiris. With every excavation, archaeologists inch closer, but no definitive proof has surfaced yet. Could her tomb still be waiting to be discovered? Or did the sands of time erase one of history's greatest burial sites forever? Until someone cracks the case, Cleopatra's final resting place remains one of Egypt's most tantalizing secrets. Number 5. The Vanished Roanoke Colony. Well, this one is pretty brain-baffling. A colony full of settlers gone without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just one cryptic clue. The word Croatoan carved into a post. This is the legend of Roanoke, one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries. It started in 1587, when English colonists, led by John White, established a settlement on Roanoke Island, modern-day North Carolina. Soon after, White sailed back to England for supplies, only to be delayed by war. When he finally returned 3 years later, he found the colony completely abandoned. Houses were dismantled, belongings left behind, but not a single person remained. So, what happened? Some believe the colonists assimilated with Native American tribes, while others think they fell victim to Spanish attacks, starvation, or disease. The lack of bodies makes it even more bizarre. Where did they all go? Without definitive evidence, the fate of the lost colony remains one of history's most haunting, unsolved disappearances. Number 4. Skull helmets. Between 2014 and 2016, archaeologists in Selangor, Ecuador, made a bone-chilling discovery. 2 infants buried with helmets made from the skulls of older children. That's right, Human skulls were deliberately placed over their heads in an ancient ritual that has no known explanation. Shockingly, the skull coverings were likely still fleshed when placed on the infants. One child was even positioned so that their own face peered through the cranial vault of the older skull. Adding to the mystery, a small bone was lodged between one of the infant's heads and the skull helmet, possibly placed there intentionally. Why would an ancient civilization encase infants in the skulls of other children? One theory suggests a ritualistic form of protection, perhaps a way to shield their spirits in the afterlife. The burials date back 2,100 years and coincide with a volcanic eruption, which may explain the malnourished state of the buried infants. Until more evidence surfaces, the true meaning of the skull helmets remains unknown. Number 3. The Venus figurines. From 30,000 to 10,000 years ago, small prehistoric statuettes depicting curvy female figures were crafted and scattered across Europe and parts of Asia. Known as the Venus figurines, these tiny carvings have left archaeologists puzzled about their true purpose. The figurines come in various styles, but most share common features: exaggerated breasts, hips, and buttocks, often lacking facial details or limbs. This has led many to believe they represented fertility, motherhood, or a goddess figure. Some suggest they were good luck charms, used in rituals or as amulets to ensure successful pregnancies or abundant food sources. What makes them even more intriguing is their widespread distribution, from France to Siberia, across vastly different prehistoric cultures. Did early humans share a common spiritual belief system? Were these figurines objects of worship, early art, or prehistoric erotica? With no written records from that time, the true meaning of the Venus figurines remains a mystery lost to history. Number 2. The disappearance of Neanderthals. These dudes were once Europe's powerful human species, thriving across Eurasia for hundreds of thousands of years. Then, 40,000 years ago, they vanished, right around the time modern humans spread across the continent. So, what happened? There are several theories. Some suggest climate change made survival harder. Others argue that competition for food and resources with modern humans led to their downfall. And then there's the genetic evidence. Neanderthals interbred with modern humans, meaning their genes live on in us. Were they outcompeted, or did they simply merge with Homo sapiens until their distinct identity faded? What we do know is that Neanderthals were not mindless brutes. They crafted tools, used fire, buried their dead, and possibly had language and art. Their disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in human evolution. And unless time travel becomes a thing, we may never know the full story. Number 1. Was Caesarion truly Julius Caesar's son? In 47 BC, Cleopatra VII gave birth to a son, Ptolemy 15, better known as Caesarion. She claimed he was the son of Julius Caesar and even named him co-ruler of Egypt in 44 BC. But was he really Caesar's child? That's a question historians still can't answer with certainty. Despite Cleopatra's insistence, Julius Caesar never officially acknowledged Caesarion as his son. In fact, one of his close allies, Gaius Appius, went so far as to write a pamphlet denying the claim. Whether this was political maneuvering or genuine skepticism remains unclear. After Cleopatra and Mark Antony were defeated by Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, in 30 BC, Caesarion was executed, ensuring he would never challenge Rome's new ruler. With no surviving remains of either Caesar or Caesarion, modern science has no way to confirm their biological relationship. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.